Night and saw a custom creative game of The Floor is Lava, and I guess it's coming out because of the way to get this guy's skin. He's a YouTuber. So I figured I'd play it. And I went ahead and played it, and it was such an interesting, fun match that I didn't record it while playing it. So I'm doing a replay to kind of like just show it and show you guys how it works. It is a very interesting game. But it's the classic thing. Lava starts coming up on the floor. Your job is not to hit the lava. There was no guns in this game. There were things like harpoon gun, plunger guns, plunger bombs, uh, remote explosives, balloons. So my thought was, before I started, I need to start farming materials because we're going to be up in the air. What I didn't realize is as the game went on, you start generating like wood, metal, and brick to kind of help you keep building. So I farmed ahead of time, thinking that once you're out of materials, you're out. So you're still fighting from the storm, but at the same time, the floor is becoming lava, which is pretty cool. So this is me. I'm over at the stronghold. Just me. I'm over at the stronghold, just getting some materials. So right now, I believe what's in my inventory is a grappler, a plunger, a bandage bazooka, and the golden fish trophy, which I think the golden fish trophy gave me this skin because it was the first thing I got, and I turned into this guy, which honestly is a pretty cool looking skin. Not gonna lie to you. Excuse me. So now I'm making my way around the stronghold, and I'm, you know, kind of getting to a position where the storm's going to come, but I'm still farming mats because I didn't understand. This was my very first game of this game, so I didn't understand materials would replenish itself. Go figure. So, as we can see, we're already less than, or like 50% of the people are gone. They're already knocked out for whatever reason. So I dropped the harpoon gun really quickly to do some splashes because that's the first time I've seen any of those. Pick the harpoon gun back up because that is literally the only weapon to attack the person with other than bombs, grenades, dynamite. And those are a lot harder to hit somebody with than the harpoon gun in my opinion. So I'm still farming materials and coming soon and I'm going to run out of space to hold materials. And that's where I realized that 500 is the max in this game mode. And still farming the materials. See, the storm's coming in behind, so we need to move a little bit. Storm's still coming. Got a little XP coin up here on the top too, which was pretty nice. And what I realize is the storm, or this part of the stronghold is within the storm limits. So, this is a good place to start the build. And look, you can't hold any more brick right now. Didn't know there was a player that close to me in the original game, right there to the south of me. I didn't even know that guy was there. So that's pretty interesting. So I'm looking, trying to see if any builds are going. I didn't see no builds, so now I'm realizing I can't carry metal either. So I'm gonna stop destroying this building because it might be a way to anchor. What essentially I think is gonna end up being a sky base. Get on top, realize the storm's gonna move on me a little bit, and I look around to see where the builds are. I don't see anything. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting. Down to 32 players in this game. Mind you, I haven't seen anybody, and this is my first attempt at this game. And I'm not a builder by say so. If you want to judge my building, that's fine. I'm trying to work on it. I see there's a crate over there, and the crates don't really drop much, so I'm not really focused on it, you know. I'm just gonna try to build up, try to anchor the build. And try to see what's gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, out of the bottom of the screen over there, you start seeing builds go up. It's very interesting. Plan was to anchor it from both sides, so if one side got destroyed, I'm still good. Problem is they kind of merged right there at the very beginning, so it wasn't too anchored, if you know what I mean. So, you can start seeing some builds coming up to the tree lines now. Got a feeling most people are kind of hiding in the trees. I didn't want to go into a tree because you couldn't build from the tree. Alright, looking around. We see this guy's got a little bit of a thing going on over there, but still nothing too high right now. Everyone's playing conservative. We got 26 people left. Wow. Lava's taking over everything. Now, I didn't get to play during the season with the volcano, but man, that looked like it would have been cool judging by this little scene I'm looking at. So they have the ability to make some really interesting things happen. I kind of started playing it chapter 2, so now we start seeing the sky bases going. Now, the guy way up there at the top, he started further back, so that's why he's coming up at the top already. My thought is, if he goes all the way to the top and I stay a little lower than him, maybe I can go connect to his build and destroy it from the lower end and fall to the lava. But at this point, I didn't realize. I also have a jetpack, I believe, in my inventory. But at this point, I didn't realize that people had balloons in the game. You'll start seeing those. But look, he's just going straight up. So I start going straight up just to make sure I get off the ground so people below me can't take me down. And then at some point, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to go, maybe I should just go straight forward and try to connect to his build. Now this guy, you're going to see me and him are going to stare at each other, shoot at each other, throw something at each other for a minute. Because we know what the plan is for each other. But we never get close enough to engage. And his base ends up getting torn down by someone else. It's pretty cool to see the Predator skin's going to come into the game. Oh, and you see the farther away when there's another sky base being formed. I don't think they ever got close enough to that guy to even think about it. But me and this guy started looking at each other and trying to figure out ways to get to each other. I know my harpoon gun can't hit him from here. I know that. So, I gotta get closer. And I saw that multiple times. I thought it was a rift. But no one ever came out of the sky, so I don't think there's a rift to go in this one. I think that noise is something that's happening in this season that's going to be coming about. So I'm still making sure no one's going to land behind me. Because you never know. Could be a rift in the game, someone could land behind you, drop you. Because they're closer to the beginning of the build while you're out on a cantilever, so to speak. So I'm going to try to get closer and see if I can overtake this guy's build. That's the thought process. But he sees me, and he comes closer to me, trying to get at me. So he's about the distance throw, and I see he comes pretty close. So I decided to keep my distance. because his throw is further than my harpoon gun. I know that my building's not lower than there, so I know he's not going to hit the beginning of my building and knock me down. I know that. So I'm not worried about him throwing too low and hitting something and knock me down. Not worried about that at all. Even the beginning of my base is in the storm, so I'm not stressing the beginning of it right now. Until I learned that the storm circle moves as it gets smaller, and then I start worrying that it's going to go back to the place where I started. But at this point, my enemy got taken down, his base is down, and I am the tallest guy in the land right now. So this tells me try to go max height. Also got to get into the new circle, but I can try to go to max height at this point because I don't see anybody else except for that platform that goes to nowhere straight ahead. And there's nobody standing on it. But I do see a bunch of people down there. And I'm like, let's just let them fight. I will just stay up here in my airbase. I do try a couple times just to see what the distance is, to see if I can get somebody or get closer. Never actually hit anybody. 14 people left in this game. Storm circle's getting pretty low. I'm hearing noises that people are gliding, that people are on balloons, that people have jetpacks. So I think they're coming up behind me. But it doesn't look like anybody can get as high as I am. So my replay is lagging a little bit here, but maybe it looks normal on the actual video. I don't know. So this is where I go max height, or I try to get max height while keeping an eye on other people. Me and this guy have a little bit of an exchange until someone knocks him down from below. Like, I thought he was going to be a legit threat, and then I didn't even pay attention to what's lower than him. Well, he jumped off anyway, but I guess he knew that his structure was broke. Not 100% sure. And we're at 12 people at this point. Now we're down to 11. This is still just my first game of trying this mode. Didn't know what to expect, didn't know how this game mode was going to be played. All I know is it's traditional. The floor is lava, stay out of the lava. I think my advantage was I landed somewhere where no one else was. It was close enough that I was able to gather the extra materials and get a little bit further ahead of people in gathering materials. I think if the guy that got knocked down at the beginning when I saw him, if he would have went out max height and he did get knocked down and his base was protected, and this is why I realized I'm at max height, so I had to go down. But I think me and him would have had to have a run in. But something happened, he got knocked down. So at this point, the storm circle is going to move from place to place within the storm. You got to kind of walk with it. But as it's moving, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I really do still like this game. Alright, so we are down to 7 people in this game. There's my little fish trophy. I don't know if I throw it if I lose it, so I just kind of hold on to it. And they keep just dropping each other, so I'm at max height. I'm going to walk with the storm, and I'm going to build with the storm. And I'm going to keep trying to look down to see what's going on. We're still at 7. Like, they're still going strong down there. And this is where I start getting worried that the storm's going to move over to my original point where I started building my structure, and I'm going to get knocked down. Because we're getting close to that area. So if it keeps going any more this way, we're going to connect to my other side over there. And I'm just kind of concerned I'm going to get knocked down at that point. However, once this circle forms, I get a pleasant surprise. And it goes the opposite way, saving my structure, keeping me as the highest man in the air. And now we're down to me and 4 other people. So we got those 4 people below just fighting away, and I'm up here in the sky base. They can't seem to get up because they're knocking each other down. They're fighting to the death down there, trying to stay alive. Now the question is, what would you do? Would you jump down there? Would you risk the game to go down there and compete? Or would you, in your first ever The Floor is Lava in Fortnite, play it safe and take the win? Because if you try to go down there, you could miss. You could land right in the lava and it'd be over, and you'd be 5th place. Now, granted, I had a jetpack. I probably could have made it down there safely. But now the storm's going back the other way, and notice how small it's getting as we go. And there are 4 other people in that tiny circle down there battling right above the lava, trying to keep alive, trying to keep building, trying to keep together. And I'm willing to bet at that point they stop fighting each other and they're just kind of moving with each other. So what it's going to end up coming down to is who has the most health when the circle is completed. The only thing I got going for me is I have a bandage bazooka. That is the only thing I got going for me. I keep getting stuck in the storm a little bit because I didn't realize it was going to keep moving again, smaller and smaller and smaller until it was over. So while I'm in my sky base, I started thinking the circle's so small, I start blocking up as much of the path as I can in case someone does have the ability to build up. Like if it gets down to me and that one last guy who's no one's blocking anymore, and he could build up. So I'm blocking as much as I can. Plus, if he has bombs or anything, he'd have to take out multiple pieces in order to drop me. So that's the theory. And now we're down to me and 3 other people, smallest circle ever, and I've just got to kind of walk with it. But I'm still blocking it up. Still just keeping it going. And I can only imagine what they're doing down there. But I know they're not bombing each other. They might be trying to edit each other, but I don't know. I just got to kind of move with the storm. And right here, you'll see how small it's really getting. You can't really tell in the game that it's like touching you. And then you get to the point where you can only want to make one path at a time. And then someone dropped off. So it's me and 2 people below me. And it's getting down to no storm circle at all. You're not protected. You're not shielded. You have nothing. Me and 1 other person. It's down to the hills at this point. Last point. Can't go anywhere else. Need to just figure this out. So I make a little bit of a path. I need to pull out the bandage bazooka, but I messed up and it dragged on it. And I'm almost about to die. And here we go. Load it up. And guess what? The victory came. I outlasted all the other people in my first game of The Floor is Lava. Yes, it was not brilliant. Yes, there was no fighting. There was no epic building. There was no craziness that I got to fight through all these people and I made it through the end. I played it conservatively. I played it safely, and I made it to the end. Well, thanks for watching. This was Tainted playing Fortnite. Have a good night.